Okay, in this video we are going to start our new topic, which is called annuities. All right, and in order to start this new topic, we need to first discuss what is a recurrence relation. Because there are two ways to solve annuity questions, and one of them is using recurrence relations. So, what is a recurrence relation? A recurrence relationship uses the previous result to generate the next value in recurring calculations. Now, if something recurs, if a process is recurring, it's repeating. So think of this as a formula which represents a process which repeats. Okay, so with recurrence relations, you're told where to start. Okay, and we usually call that V sub 0. That subscript 0 just is telling you it's the initial starting point. And then you're given what we call a recurrence formula that uses subscripts to tell you how to proceed. So let's show an example here to try and explain what we mean. So given V naught is 1. So V naught, then remember that's your start. This is telling you that we're starting off with the number 1. And then we're given the recurrence relation here. And V sub n plus 1 equals Vn plus 2. Find the value of V3. Now, to understand this a little bit better, I want you to think the following way. Think of V sub n as the current value. And then what that means is that V sub n plus 1 is the next value. And if you think of Vn and V sub n plus 1 as being the current value for Vn and the next value for Vn plus 1, it'll be very, very helpful in solving this problem. We want to find V3. So what we do is we go up one step at a time. Okay, so we know V sub naught, what would be the next step up? Well, V sub 1 would be the next. All right. Now, before we work that out, I want us to think about this formula in terms of what we just talked about. So I think the best way of thinking about this, V sub n plus 1 is the next value equals the current value plus 2. And if you think of it like this, and this rule we're going to keep repeating, we're going to repeat using it, it will help make sense of the question. So the starting off value is 1, the current value is 1, and then we're going to add 2 to that current value. So what's 1 plus 2? Well, that's 3. So V sub 1 is 3. Next, if I want to work out the next value, it's going to be V sub 2. So the next value, remember we're using this rule here, and this rule essentially means the next value is the current value plus 2. So it's going to be V sub 1 plus 2. So I'm right, 3 plus 2, it's going to be 5. And if I wanted to work out V3, it'd be the same thing. It'd be the current plus 2. So the current is 5 plus 2. V sub 3 is 7. Okay, so what have we done? Well, all we've been doing is we've been adding 2 to get the next value. We started off with 1, we added 2 to get 3, we added 2 to get 5, and we added 2 to get 7. Okay, so a recurrence relation is just a formula to help tell you how to get to the next value. All right, let's do another example. So this is an investment question. It's modeled using this recurrence relation here. And a lot of the questions in the textbook look very similar to this type of form. So we're told V sub n is the balance of the investment after n payments. Okay, and V sub naught is 0. So that tells us we're going to start with 0 being our value. Calculate the value of the investment after 4 payments. Well, after 4 payments, that would be an n value of 4. So that means I want to work out V4. All right, so let's begin at the beginning. So firstly, remember that what this rule means. This rule means that the next term is equal to the current term times by 1.10 plus 1,000. So to get to each next term, we need to multiply the current term by 1.10 and then add 1,000. All right, well, let's do that. So we start off our V0 is 0. We're told that in the question. So to get to the next one, we would have to do the previous term, which is V0 times by 1.10 plus 1,000. And when you do that, substitute in the 0 there for V0. It would be 0 times by 1.10 plus 1,000, which is 1,000. So V1 is 1,000. All right, now let's keep focusing on understanding this rule in terms of what we're doing here. To get to the next term, it's the current multiplied by 1.10 plus 1,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump a little bit. What is the current value? So the next value is going to, from V1 is going to be V2. What's the current value? 1,000. I'm going to multiply that 1,000 by 1.10 and then add 1,000. When you do that, you get 2,100. So that's my V2. Okay, so now I want to work out the next term. Well, the next term, what's the next term going to be? If that's V2, the next term is going to be V3. And remember the rule. It's the current, which is 2,100 times by 1.10 plus 1,000. Okay, put that into your calculator. You get 3,310. So that's V3. What's going to be the next term after V3? It's going to be V4. So let's go. V4, I'll do it over here, equals the current, which is 3,310 times by 1.10 plus 1,000. Into your calculator, $4,641. Okay. All right. So hopefully you're kind of getting the hang of the idea that V sub n is the current term, V sub n plus 1 is the next term. And we use the current term in the rule to work out the next term. All right, now that's a lot of working out, but that is the amount of working out that they expect you to do in a HSC exam. Okay, I don't suspect they'll put it much more than 4 payments because that's a lot of repetitive working out. However, there is a quicker way to work out the different V values. And this is using your calculator. So this is a calculator shortcut. So the first step is to enter V0 and then press equals. And then after you've done that, we enter the right-hand side of the recurrence relation. And the key thing is we use the answer button for V sub n. And then what happens is you can just keep pressing equals, and every time you press equals, you get to the next value. Okay, so you press equals, you get from V0 to V1, then equals from V1 to V2, equals from V2 to V3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same question we just did using this shortcut. So I'm going to write using calculator. So this is calculator shortcut. Okay, so let's do it. So the first step is to enter V0. So in your calculator, you would press 0 equals. Then step 2, what you would do is we need to set up the recurrence relation in our calculator. In order to do that, remember we're entering the right-hand side and we're using the answer key, the answer button for V sub n. So you'd write answer times by bracket 1.10. Okay, actually the brackets aren't necessary because you're just timesing by one number. and then plus 1,000. Okay, so that's step 2. And then what we do is every time you press equals, you're going to get to the next term. So hopefully put that in your calculator. If you haven't, pause the video, put in your calculator. 0 equals, then go answer times by 1.10 plus 1,000. The first time you press equals, you'll get 1,000. The second time you press equals, so press equals again, you'll get the next number, 2,100. The next time you press equals, you'll get 3,310. And the next time you press equals, you'll get the final value, 4641. So you can see that by just pressing equals, you get to the next value very, very quickly. So you can see that this shortcut will be very, very useful if you wanted to, say, work out V sub 10 or V sub 20, okay? However, they've made it clear, just one thing to remember, is that use this shortcut for calculations. But in a HSC exam, you need to show all working out, like the left-hand side here. That's what we're expecting for the HSC. However, use the calculator shortcut to speed things up. It speeds things up significantly, particularly if you get to V sub 10. Okay. All right. What I'd like you to do now is go to your textbook, exercise 7A, do questions 1 to 5 for now. Okay. I'll see you in the next video.